At first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again. Dims.
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm.
Grabbed his arm?
Said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the
Get off
steering
me.
wheel." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
That's crazy.
And when Mr. Ornato had recounted the story to me, he had motioned towards
What's
his
this?
clavicles.
Thank you,
Chairman Grassley and Ranking Member Feinstein, members of the committee. I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school. I was pushed onto the bed and Brett got on top of me. I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling.
Yeah.
And I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me.
Are you ever not going to fall for that?
No, they're never gonna not fall for that.
Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break.
I want to talk about something serious, y'all. Guns. That's right, you heard it. Here in America, we're known for big cars, big football games, big hot dogs, and guess what? Big guns. Let's talk about this. So, the recent string of mass shootings, especially those that are in schools, is bringing about stricter gun reform bills. And Congress have passed the most significant gun bill that we've seen in decades. But we all know that bad guys will always have access to guns. And unfortunately for law-abiding citizens, the Second Amendment has never been more at risk of being infringed than this year. But a new site is showing their support for the Second Amendment to create change. And guess what? You can get in on it too. The Support the Second coin usually retails for $24.95, but is currently free for a limited time to bring awareness to the issues affecting gun owners today. The coin has beautiful engravings on both sides, with one side stating in big bold text, "The Second Amendment is my gun permit." Woo-hoo-wee. That sounds like America. Get your free Second Amendment coin today by going to www.supportthesecond.com. That is www.supportthesecond.com. America. Now look at what the Democrats are doing. If you didn't know it, now you do. They're holding a very shammy looking like a January 6th trial, or well, actually it's like a presentation or a film or maybe a short series or something like that. They're holding that. And they brought in a secret witness that popped up out of nowhere that was working in the White House. And apparently she goes out there and testifies. Now what kills me is this ain't the first rodeo. We just saw you-know-who, Blasey Ford, up there, and I'm doing this not because I'm a corrupt, stinking person that allowed myself to be manipulated and whatever. No, I'm doing it because we all know why you're doing it. We all know why this lady was brought out there. I don't know what they paid her. I don't know what they offered her. I don't know what's in it for her financially, but you can best believe she ain't doing that for no reason. So here's a woman who worked for Mark Meadows, and now all of a sudden she decides to grow a conscience out of nowhere. Democrats bring her out to testify. Now you would think that they would learn their lesson, bringing out these raggedy people out of nowhere to try to smear Trump. And then it always backfires. You know why? Because the Dems go over the top. They don't know when to stop. They go to the extreme. With Blasey Ford, started off, it's just Brett Kavanaugh. Then they bring in the media. They bring in Michael Avocado. They bring in all of this stuff. And now Brett Kavanaugh becomes a gang rapist. Do you know how hard it is for us to expand and extend our imagination to believe that this man went from trying to sexually assault one woman to running a sex ring / gang rapist group? See, they always go to the other level, man, to extreme. Just like this raggedy witness they done brought out now to come up with a story about Donald Trump and J6. So let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. It's time for me to go Columbo. So let's go ahead and hear her sensitivity and stuff that she just grew recently.
Ask some people decades from now, we'll all remember where we were when Cassidy Hutchinson testified before the January 6th committee. Who's Cassidy Hutchinson? It's a good question. She was apparently a low-level junior staffer at the Trump White House. But this junior staffer became the leading lady in yesterday's made-for-TV drama. Is this a serious congressional committee or an episode of West Wing? The New York Times described it as a very special episode and a jaw-dropping production because her testimony was reviewed by a New York Times TV critic. Cassidy was cast perfectly for this role. She gave the audience, Schiff and Cheney especially, exactly what they wanted to hear. A jam-packed action scene straight out of 24. I mean, the Trump White House.
Cutting action! He thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, we're not, the president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing. The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
Wow. Now, guys, did y'all listen to that testimony right there? Very detailed, right? Almost as if she was reading it right out of a novel. She was so precise and detailed, you would have thought that she sat down somewhere and rehearsed it, learned every single line, knew all the details to touch on, knew just the right words to say, just how much bone she should throw towards these raggedy Democrats. Kind of like when they brought those raggedy police officers out up there on Capitol Hill, and they started to read their testimony that sounded a lot like all the Democrats' talking points. Every single bullet they wanted to have in there. Well, don't make sure you mention white nationals. Make sure you mention racism. Make sure you mention all of this insurrection. Coached them up very well. So here this woman comes out and she's telling a story that sounds like she's auditioning for a stinking movie scene or something, or to be an actress. Look how stiff she was. That hand was sitting there, very precise. The clavicle, all of those details, huh? I wonder how much of that is true, because see, I really have to push my imagination to the limit to believe that happened. But the Dems don't care, because you know what? They just want that soundbite. They believe every single Democrat voter listening to this, it's dumb.
And the media loved it. They rushed out articles like this saying, Trump lunged for an agent's throat on January 6th.
Now, when would they learn? Y'all saw the clip from Thor and Loki. I mean, every single time they fall for the same trick. They learn with Michael Avocado, bringing him on those shows all the time. You're a beast, Michael. You know, you're like the Holy Spirit. You're like the Holy Spirit. Only to get faked out by Avocado. Now he's doing some time. They did it with Blasey Ford. Her stuff got destroyed. They do it every time because they're so thirsty to try to make Trump look like he's the bad guy. They will bring out the worst witnesses, and I don't even know why these people do this. What could it be for you to come out and try to smear Trump, especially when you were a conservative working in his campaign? Omarosa did it. You had all of these people who work for Trump comes out, and it must be a serious payoff somehow for them to come out and say, now all of a sudden, I'm going to pretend that I was working under horrific conditions and all of this stuff. I mean, is she going for a book? Because we know that the Democrats are not going to call her into question after we find out that this testimony might have been, how should I put it, exaggerated. Because then she's supposed to be sworn in. So let's continue seeing if they're going to hold her in contempt, or they're going to say, you know what, you're lying, you perjured yourself at Congress, or should I say during our theatrical performance.
First of all, Hutchinson says a Secret Service agent told her this all went down inside of the Beast. Yeah. But Trump was never in the Beast.
What?
When this allegedly happened.
That's
There's literally video of him getting inside of an SUV after his rally, the same car that took him back to the White House. Also, there were 3 agents with him in the car. The driver, an agent in the passenger seat, and 1 agent in the back. Can you really imagine the President of the United States leaping out of his seat, bypassing 2 agents, and somehow grabbing the throat of a Secret Service agent while also reaching for the steering wheel with his other hand? They said this president couldn't even walk down a ramp, and now all of a sudden he's Bruce Willis.
That's hilarious, y'all. Now, see, here's what's killing me. The Democrats are so dumb, and they belittle the intelligence of Americans so much that they figure we don't even have to vet this woman's story. We're going to go straight Adam Schiff on this one. We're going to go ahead and make it basically what the president said is, listen here, Ukraine, you're going to do what I told you to do, or else I'm going to punch you in the face and all this stuff. You know, they went straight Adam Schiff. Did Adam write this for her? You mean to tell me they didn't have enough common sense as they were writing this script for her to say, let's back off a little bit on the theatrics. Let's tone it down on the exaggeration and the hyperbole. Let's try to at least make it appear that you are being genuine and you're really having a problem being that detailed because you weren't even there.
Hutchinson wasn't even in the car when any of this happened.
What? You got to be kidding me. That woman was saying it like it was in the first person, like she was right there watching this. So you got all those details and wasn't even in the car. But yet you read it there in Congress as if you were firsthand witnessing it. You're like, yep, Brad Pitt, just like that, round the clavicle. And then he reached for the steering. That's right. Dun dun dun. And he pulled and they fought and the car was swaying side to side. And I think I heard a screeching sound from the wheels, and then Bobby said, "Oh my God, I don't want to die." And Trump said, "Shut up, I'll kill all of you. You take me right back to that Capitol right now." See, it was crazy. It was crazy. She read that script like she was auditioning for a play or a movie. She exaggerated that to the point where it escaped belief. I was like, okay, so Trump was in it. Wait, did you just say he reached up in the front, grabbed the wheel? Oh, see, now you lost me. Now you lost me. But I wonder if the bubbleheads watching this show trial is going to put that together. I wonder if they're going to start seeing that this is a pattern that the Democrats use by bringing out these bogus witnesses that gets discredited constantly. But some of those people, hit us with the low key, fall for it every single time. And now we're going to find out some details were left out. Like for one, Jesse just mentioned they weren't even in the beast. So off grip, you're discredited, right? Then number two, what else?
She says this one Secret Service agent told her about it. But the agent says, no, I didn't. And he's willing to testify. You think Schiff will let him? I doubt it. It would ruin the plot. And the guy's got impeccable credentials. Over 23 years of service under his belt. The committee never even checked in with him to confirm the story. Hey guys, did Trump go full-blown action hero in the Beast on the 6th? They didn't want to check with the Secret Service because they didn't want to know the truth.
Telling me that Trump went full-blown beast mode in the Beast that he wasn't in. Okay. See, this is when stories start unraveling, right? This is that moment where the Democrats should be tapping out and saying, okay, maybe we went a little too overboard with that one. Maybe we should back off of this because it can only go downhill from here as people start to say, well, if they're willing to bring in a horrific lying person to testify and make up this full-blown story, what else could they be lying about? You're telling me that she's the only bootleg witness that they brought in? Democrats, they don't bring in legitimate witnesses. They bring in bootleg witnesses because they need them to trump up some charges. They need them to exaggerate, embellish, and pretty much lie. Yeah, they don't bring in good witnesses. They don't bring in people who are trying to be non-biased. They don't even put people on that January 6th committee that is non-biased. They put people like Liz Cheney and Adams, whatever his name is, on that thing, which we already know their record in regards to Trump. So now here she is getting unraveled. She wasn't even in the car, and you would have thought she was there based on how she read her script. Let's continue.
They just want drama to smear Trump with and tee up an indictment so that he can't run. And Cassidy Hutchinson, little background on her, just dumped her pro-Trump lawyer for a Democrat-friendly lawyer 3 weeks before her testimony. And all of a sudden, her testimony is filled with bombshells. What a coincidence. And she had her lines down pat.
Action! I was in the vicinity of a conversation where I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here. Let the people in.
Y'all hear her? Trump was out there like, Pharaoh, let my people go. So you're telling me that Trump was like, yo, man, I don't care. I don't care what y'all say, man. Turn this mug around. I'm going to be with my peeps. I'm about to go to the Capitol, and we're going to go ahead and implement this insurrection with these ragtag group of people with MAGA hats and cell phones. And me and the dude with the horns is about to set up shop. Undeniable, baby. Uncontested. Now turn this bad boy around. Unbelievable. I wonder how she feels. I wonder if she's saying, you know what? It was worth smearing my whole reputation. I hope she never gets another job in Washington again. But however, since she's willing to prostitute herself up there in Congress for this, I'm sure the Democrats will love her on their squad.
Did you catch that? She was in the vicinity of a conversation, and he said something to the effect of. All this sounds a little bit like a stretch to me, but that was basically her whole testimony. Watch.
Action! And he had responded something to the effect of, we're going to the Capitol. Said something to the effect of, there's a lot going on, Cass. Mr. Cipollone said something to the effect of, the president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president. He said something to the effect of, he's really ticked off about this.
Has she been coached to say something to the effect of, so she doesn't perjure herself?
I think so, Jesse. Notice the common word? Yeah, to the effect of, they never really break it down and say, I know for a fact, because see, they can't do that. This is all mustered up, and they make sure their lawyers and those corrupt people who write these statements for them prepare language that will give them a way to weasel off the hook. It's kind of like, you know what, I believe. Like that FBI agent when she was being questioned by Ted Cruz, and he asked her, did anybody on January 6th participate in that crowd from the FBI? And she said, not to my knowledge. What that means is I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes. I'm just saying I don't know. So they always make sure they leave wiggle room to get off that hook. You know why? Because they're worms.
Truth doesn't matter. That's why you have Cheney hugging Hutchinson after her big debut. Why would a fair congressional investigator hug a witness?
Good question. I bet you when she hugged her, she said, thanks a lot, girl. Your check will be in the mail. You did great. You stuck your lines, but you did look like you were pushing it a little far and stuff like that. We wanted you to pull back, but it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Now listen, thanks for prostituting yourself. We'll cut you your cheap check and you'll get it in the mail. Why are you over there hugging her? I mean, that makes it look like you're friends.
Isn't this supposed to be impartial? It's not, and it never was.
Oh.
And whenever Adam Schiff gets involved, you can't trust the process.
Do you have any concerns, though, Congressman, that the story, about him sort of lunging for the Secret Service agent and lunging for the steering wheel is not true?
Look, I believe Cassidy Hutchinson. I think she's a very, very smart, very capable, very honest individual. She has no incentive to make up something that isn't true. And so I think she's a very, very credible witness.
Well, you know what it is. Y'all probably gave her incentive. I'm sure y'all made it worth her while. But what's crazy about peanut head, pencil neck, watermelon shaped face, Adam Schiff is that he's full of shit. That man got out there using shifty language. He never said, I definitely believe that happened or it was true. He pivoted and directed his trust into the witness. He said, I believe her. Now, I'm not saying what she said is true and we have actual facts, no. But I do believe her. She seems like a credible witness. And she don't have an incentive. Are you kidding me? You're telling me she don't have an incentive. So you're telling me out of the kindness of her heart, she has been offered a job down in Florida. She took the job. So you're telling me she wanted to go down there and work for the insurrectionists. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, she just decided, wow, I should have did something. When you see something, you should say something. And this is my time to say it. When the corrupt, stinking Democrats are putting together a show trial, this is my big day to grow a conscience. Or could she have an incentive given to her by people like Adam Schiff, who have an incentive with this whole show trial? You think they're really trying to get to the bottom of this and they want truth and honesty? Please.
If Adam Schiff thinks someone's credible, you better check it yourself.
That's right.
This is the same guy who got goosed by a bunch of Russian pranksters.
That is true.
Okay, Putin is Godfather. And what's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
And so Putin was made aware of the availability of the compromising material?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. We will be back in touch with you through our staff to make arrangements to obtain these materials for our committee and for the FBI.
Now, did y'all hear pencil neck, watermelon shaped face? First of all, this man was running around trying to tell everyone that you shouldn't even be communicating with the Russians or receiving any damn information on American citizens. But right there, he was real excited to get pictures of naked Trump. Don't worry, let Putin knows it. He's very aware of it. You want the naked pictures of Trump? Yes, I do. When can I arrange to pick them up? Don't worry, we send them to FBI. No. Can you send them to me first? I think I need to look over them. And what else you got? Oh, yes, we have video of pee-pee. Lots of pee-pee on Trump. Oh, yeah, I like that too. I mean, I need that too. Okay, could you send it to pencil? Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, you can call me. Shifty Schiff, bug-eyed, watermelon-shaped pencil neck at AOL. Yeah, that man was on there thinking he negotiating with some Russians that had some dirt on Trump, which shows us that he is the dirt. The whole Democrat Party, the dirty Dems.
And Schiff couldn't wait to see pictures of naked Trump. Plus, he's the one that ran with the Steele dossier.
Oh, he did.
And who could forget the P-tape?
No
This testimony is basically Adam Schiff's P-tape. Gossip that's been debunked, but it's put out into the public to damage Trump. Who cares if it's true or not? 3, 2, 1, action.
There's an update on that.
What?
Actually.
Let's get
There is an update on that, and I love the update on that.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Secret Service is reportedly prepared to testify Trump didn't try to commandeer the limo on January 6th, despite Hutchinson's account.
Oh, boy.
Surprise! Wait, so he wasn't in the back of the limo and lunged to the front seat and grabbed the steering wheel.
I mean, they wasted no time saying they were prepared to testify under oath. Yeah, she had a lot of fun stuff to say yesterday.
Wow.
Oh,
no kidding.
Cassidy.
She also discussed how Donald Trump wasn't happy with Bill Barr, the Attorney General.
So before we even hear about the Bill Barr part, you're telling me that the Secret Service, the guys that she said, that this dude told me this. Now that guy must have been extremely detail oriented the way she read that testimony, because she read it as if she witnessed it firsthand. And I know this can't be the fact, because guess what? Guys don't even talk like that. We don't worry about details. Women do. If you ever hear two women talk.
And all right, girl, so I got to work. It was like 7:29. I remember, because when I walked in, I'd usually go into the kitchen to get some donuts. And then it was like 3 minutes later, and then this one lady walked in, and she had on a blue shirt, she had on some purple shoes, and she gave me the evil eye. And you know what? I knew it was the evil eye, because every time she gave me the evil eye, I noticed her face kind of do one of these things, and I was like, here come that evil eye again. And then my boss gonna call me, and I looked at the watch, and I was like,
guys don't do that. Guys get on the phone with their friends, and they say, dude, man, it was a horrible day at work today. What? What happened? All kind of crazy mess. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy, man. They was tripping. You good? Yeah, I'm good, though. Anyway, what's up, man? That's it. Somehow we fill in the blanks and all of that stuff right there. We don't need to know all the dirty details. So you're telling me that Secret Service guy broke that down like it was a movie scene. That's how she read it. Yeah, and she read it like she was like, and then he glanced slowly as he turned and said, you turned this car around. And he lunged with a backhand in slow motion. I felt the wind gust across my face as I gently moved and went with the flow. That's how she read that. And now we find out these guys said she lied. What else has she lied about? Who else have lied in this show trial?
The physical altercation that Ms. Hutchinson described in the presidential vehicle was not the first time that the president had become very angry about issues relating to the election.
No. And of course, anger leads to sedition. Anger leads to sedition. Sedition leads to death. Death leads to
January 6th committee?
The January 6th committee.
So you're telling me the dumb Dems just ain't learning? They're bringing out raggedy people to testify. Now that shows how desperate they are. You couldn't vet this woman properly. You couldn't even double check the stories. So you couldn't get nobody to tell you I'm a first-hand witness. So listen to this lady now. Give us the backdrop to Trump and the catch-up somehow. Okay, this is in the category of the P-tape, but apparently Trump's mad at Bill Barr because Bill Barr was a raggedy AG. And let's see this evil crime that Trump committed by being angry.
Attorney General Barr said in an interview that the Department of Justice had now not found evidence of widespread election fraud sufficient to change the outcome of the election. Ms. Hutchinson, how did the president react to hearing that news?
Around the time that I understand the AP article went live, I remember hearing noise coming from down the hallway, so I poked my head out of the office. I saw the valet walking towards our office. He had said, get the chief down to the dining room, the president wants him. So Mark went down to the dining room and came back to the office a few minutes later. After Mark had returned, I left the office and went down to the dining room, and I noticed that the door was propped open and the valet was inside the dining room changing the tablecloth off of the dining room table. He motioned for me to come in and then pointed towards the front of the room near the fireplace mantle and the TV, where I first noticed there was ketchup dripping down the wall. And there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor.
She says it wrong.
The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview.
Ketchup on the walls?
And had thrown his lunch against the wall.
Against the wall, I see. All right. Some of the
which
ketchup
was
came out of his
causing
lunch.
them to have to clean up, so I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off of the wall to help the valet out.
What's the deal, bro? Come on.
And he said something to the effect of, he's really ticked off about this. I would stay clear of him for right now. He's really, really ticked off about this right now.
And that's a crime. You cannot throw your lunch at a wall when it contains ketchup.
Y'all hear that? That testimony that she was reading, talking about some ketchup being thrown up on the wall and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much a crime, and it shows that you're ready for an insurrection and stuff. I'm surprised she didn't say the ketchup was blood. I'm surprised she didn't say, you know what? Then the butler came and he was like, come here, come here. He's pretty upset in there. Yeah, there's a couple bodies laying all over the place and blood splattered everywhere. So you might want to stay clear from him because he's a little upset. Never mind the bodies in there and the murder that took place, right? Ketchup on the wall. Now, first of all, we don't even know if that happened. When it comes down to these Democrats and these raggedy witnesses that they drag out, we don't know what's truth because they always go over the top. They figure that the more grandiose the story is, more exaggerated it is, the more emotions it will drum up, the more suspense it will create, the more belief it will create. But apparently they don't know how to write, okay? Because when you write fiction, the problem is if you make it so far out to where it becomes unbelievable, then nobody believes it. When you come up with a female character in an action movie that's about 4'2", 103 pounds, and she beats up 10 big dudes, do you think anybody in there's imagination could stretch that far to say, yeah, man, I can see her knocking out Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger with one punch? Yeah, I mean, couldn't that happen? It can't? No? Okay. Well, I mean, it's a movie, and I guess they could. You're asking the audience to extend their imagination beyond belief. It's too far. Same thing with this. The whole J6 thing has been nothing but action, and they want to use this crap to stop Donald Trump from running again in 2024. And that shows how desperate they are, how corrupt they are, how evil they are, and how willing they are to use this garbage to distract people, motivate people to not vote for Trump. All of this crap, instead of doing their job, all of the things they can be doing, and they're bringing out bootleg witnesses that are being caught lying, and yet they're going to press on. They just don't know when to quit. You know why? Because they're extremists. Yeah, they always go too far. But that's okay until they flip right off the dang on cliff. That's how far. I want them to drive like Thelma and Louise. I want them to hit the gas. I want them to go too far until they drive that whole party right off the cliff in November. God bless y'all. God bless America. I got caught up in that drama. For a minute, man, I was sitting there with my popcorn like, what? Oh my God, that sounds crazy. So he threw he threw that food on that wall. Oh God, wonderful, tasty ketchup, wasted. That evil Trump. He could give it to the homeless or something like that. But he's a fascist. Yeah, sitting there got caught up. Anyway, see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Oh, by the way, subscribe to my podcast. All the links are below the video. Check y'all out next time in Kevin's Corner. Bye bye.